In this video, I will talk about the process of portrait painting. Portrait painting has a long tradition in painting genre, and it has so many different methods. The video shows the basic process of mixing color, sketching, and painting to introduce the process of painting portraiture. Before the demo, I will show some materials that are used in this video. Brushes are very important, and depending on the selection of brushes, your painting will have totally different results. I usually prefer using big brushes from 2-inch wide to 1/2-inch wide flat brushes because I like to paint quickly and it helps me not focus on tiny details too much. Keep your brushes always clean. You don't want muddy, dirty colors in your painting, so it's good to have something like paper towels at hand. I am using Gamsol as a solvent and also to clean my brushes. You're free to use any painting medium, but here I am using Neil McGill. It has the jelly-like consistency and it gives subtle shine to paints you mix with. I try to keep my color palette simple and basic, especially for simple painting like this. My palette consists of burnt umber, yellow ochre, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, cadmium red, cadmium yellow, and titanium white. Before I start mixing colors, I will tint my canvas paper with burnt umber. The reason I tint the surface is to help me see values and hues of paints better on the canvas. When you put a paint on a clean white surface, the paint will look so much more vibrant and darker than what it ends up looking. Having a tinted surface will help you measure the values and hues of the paints more precisely. For the demo, I am using a random photo that I found in Pinterest. You can use any picture as a reference, and also you can study a live model. As the wash of burnt umber settles on the canvas, let's start mixing colors. Depending on the complexion of the subject and the lighting, colors you want will change. In this case, I am mixing colors based on a reference photo. I used a mix of yellow ochre, alizarin crimson, and ultramarine blue as the base color. If you get confused about what colors you need, take a good look at your reference and decide based on the value and temperature. If what I see is colder and darker, I will add ultramarine blue. If it's warmer and lighter, I will add cadmium red or yellow. Also, pay closer attention to the saturation of the paints. If the color is too saturated, add burnt umber or white. On the other hand, if you want to keep vibrancy of color but still want to lighten up the value, try to use light yellow like cadmium yellow light or Hansa yellow light instead of white. The colors I make so far is just the foundation of my painting. As I paint, I will keep building up on them. But once you get the base of your colors, let's start painting finally. The process of painting varies depending on the artist, but I will start with a quick sketch of portrait with diluted paint. At this stage, I don't care about the details and likeliness of the subject. In the sketching stage, I just try to see the composition and general placement of each facial element. I am sketching quickly as I observe the reference photo. But I am also laying down some facial landmarks based on my basic anatomical understanding. For example, a face can be divided into thirds. The size of ears are usually the same length as the distance between the bottom of a nose and the eyebrows. Those kinds of knowledge help you observe a subject quickly, and it's a crucial skill, especially if you're painting from a live model because they move constantly. There are some rules you might want to follow when you paint with oil. In general, you should work from darker value to lighter value. I won't go into details about why you should do that in this video, but I will put a link to a great article about it in the description section. Also, it is a good habit to start from general shapes to more specific details. If you're working on a complex subject such as a face, it might be a little bit overwhelming to work on the tiny details from the beginning. So, by starting from simple generic shapes and gradually shaping them into more specific forms, the composition of your painting will be more balanced and articulate. After the quick sketching, I started blocking the colors. In the early stage, I only used a bigger brush to ignore the details of face. I only try to see values and colors of the subject, not the details. I am working from darker value and gradually putting some lighter values. It is really loosely painted and you can see the brush strokes. Once I laid out the basic colors, I start to work on details. The painting is desaturated and cold, but I start adding warmer colors around her cheeks and eyes to add more liveliness and warmth. Don't forget about the background. The background determines the mood of the entire painting. Lastly, I add some highlight colors to finish the portrait. It took about 45 minutes to 1 hour to paint. I could work on further to make it more finished looking, or I could use this sketch as a study for a larger project later on. So we look at the process of portrait painting in this video. However, the method I introduced here is only one of millions of approaches. So it might work well for your painting or not. The only way to find out is try out for yourself. Thank you for watching and enjoy your portrait painting.